we every single week go back to classic albums, mixtapes that we want to just kind of highlight, put a little bit of a spotlight on. And this week we went back to House of Balloons by The Weeknd. Mm-hmm. Another one where it was like, oh, so I just get to, listen to something that is normally in my rotation a little bit.
Yeah.
I love this era of The Weeknd. I think for me, 2011, I did not understand what was happening with this.
Yeah.
I'm fucking 11 years old. Like, what am I going to do with this album talking about drugs and sex?
Yeah.
But over COVID, when we were in the peak of lockdown, was when I fell in love with the whole trilogy series. And this is my favorite one from it for sure. Mm-hmm. Some of the best standout tracks as individual songs in the entire trilogy. And then because I always listen to trilogy as the whole three. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like if I'm going to dive into it, I'm going to listen to everything. I'll have a weekend, couple hours.
Yeah.
When I'm just listening to this 11 songs though, I could understand how if you've never heard of this guy before and this is the first thing that you're ever hearing, what? Mm-hmm. Changed R&B forever. I think that since this dropped, everyone has been trying to catch up with this sound because it was so innovative and so ahead of its time and started off one of the best careers in music history.
Yeah. Because this is his true debut, right?
Yeah.
Was there any music before this? Any mixtape? Anything that you guys are familiar with? Or is this really how he came out?
This is the first thing.
And the single was Wicked Games, right?
Yes.
Yeah, what a start to the career.
Yeah. Wasn't there a story about how he previewed like 3 different songs on his YouTube and then he dropped this mixtape? Or is that it's not the right order for that?
That feels correct.
I think what's unique about the Weeknd, from what I remember, is that he literally started on YouTube, but like some of the first videos he uploaded blew up.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think there's any need to sugarcoat it. The whole mysterious thing that we still talk about till this day was him. Mm-hmm. Mm. Everything that artists in almost every genre are trying to do in terms of aura and anticipation and just like mysteriousness is all based off The Weeknd and his meteoric rise to fame, because everyone was like, who the fuck is this dude with the weird hair singing in this beautiful voice about some of the most like dark, like dirty, fucked up shit ever.
Yeah.
It's crazy to think that at this point in his life, because we know The Weeknd as this super famous, iconic epitome of everything that celebrity is, he was sleeping on benches in the street in Toronto, no money, nothing. Similar to what we were talking about Anderson earlier, like with only this music dream to kind of keep him going. And he's turned it into XO, into labels, into TV shows, into multiple bodies of work that are just so impressive.
He turned it into being the biggest artist in the world.
Literally.
Which he is currently on Spotify, 112 million monthly listeners. Number one, has held that spot for majority of the last 5 years, despite going up against people like Taylor Swift, who we just assume are the biggest because of all these people in Middle America that we might not know, but listen, but no, The Weeknd has been that for the majority of the last 5 years, and that is an incredible feat in itself.
It's just so special. I think that you could maybe, because you were like a freshman in high school when this came out?
Yeah, freshman in high school.
So were you listening to it when it first came out, or did this also come around for you a little bit later?
No, it came around a little bit later. I would say I started listening to The Weeknd and Trilogy when Take Care came out.
Okay, yeah.
Because that's when I like, obviously he was featured on the project. Mm-hmm. So like then I heard about him, and then I had heard about him before, but I never really dove into the music because it was a little like slow for me and I didn't understand it.
Yeah.
I would say at this point in my life I understand it the most than back then.
What? I want to go to the parties that he's talking about. I can't lie. What do you mean? Not all of it. Not all.
It's a little freak off.
Nah, those sound
there
too
are
crazy.
some freak off vibes a little bit.
Yeah.
But I
can
just
go do some blow.
I feel like this era, bro, was so different. And I could just imagine being outside. Probably wild. Probably leads to some bad decisions.
No, definitely. Some of these songs definitely could be the soundtrack to a post game.
You know what I mean? Or the drive to the
party.
post game.
Yeah. It's a vibe.
I mean, to me, this just sounds like probably some Hollywood Hills type party.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like 3 a.m., like at somebody random crib, you know?
Crazy wealth.
Yeah.
Definitely. But it's not yours. Like, you're not at your crib. You know what I mean? You're just kind of here. Like, how did I get here?
Exactly.
Yeah.
We vibing. We having a good time. Do
you guys have a favorite song on the project?
Yeah. For me personally, it's always been, I want to go Coming Down.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I want to go Coming Down. Obviously, I think the one that I play the most is Loft Music, like just because like easiest. It's kind of more upbeat. You could play that around other people. But I think that when I heard Coming Down for the first time, I was just like, oh, you're not just doing the pretty voice, dark shit. This is like great lyricism. I always want you when I'm coming down, like that whole concept of just like fucked up love. Like, I love how The Weeknd throughout this whole trilogy is kind of playing like a villain character a little bit.
Like he did for, I feel like, a lot of his career.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's like, I'm a bad guy, and I don't give a fuck about it. You know what I mean? Like, cause you still gonna be here. You still gonna fuck with me. All these women gonna fuck with me. To be honest with you, I ain't gonna tell y'all no lies though.
Yeah.
Shit, in the morning you gonna have to get the fuck up out of here, or I probably will too, cause I do not live here. That's definitely the vibes I get from that. But yeah, Coming Down is special to me.
Yeah. Oh, so you got a favorite song?
Is it too basic to say The Morning?
No, it's a great song.
It's an amazing song. It was probably the reason why I really started messing with The Weeknd, to be honest. And then High for This, just because there were like a couple EDM remixes that came out during that time period. I don't know. I was a little bit into EDM around that time too. There was a High for This remix. I can't even remember what it was called, but it was elite. And it really made me love this song because it gave another like layer and depth to it. You know?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
You guys might disagree because I've heard some people get tired of this song, but I love the party and the after party.
Yeah, that's a great song.
I love that song.
That's
That's not, you don't even listen to that shit. You experience that shit. You know what I mean? 8 minutes, different changes. My favorite part is the section at the end. Right, when the electric guitar comes in and he does that last verse. To me, that's one of my favorite moments of his whole career.
Those two, House of Balloons / Glass. What is it?
Glass Table Girls.
Yeah, that and the party and the after party are just like out of this world creativity.
Yeah,
just take you on. Like, it feels like you're in the bender.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like, you're going through everything. You're seeing what he's seeing. Talking about House of Balloons, like. That feels like a chaotic party. Like when you realize like, oh shit, I'm drunker than I thought right now.
Yeah.
There's a lot of flashing lights going on. I'm just kind of like, whoa, what the fuck is happening right now? Love that song. Talking about High for This though, what an intro. What a fucking intro to his career, bro.
Yeah.
If you have no idea about what you're gonna get into, just hearing these like big ass drums over his like is falsetto on this too, like that incredible high pitched voice that he goes into, and then the chorus is incredible. Yeah, it's epic as fuck.
And it's a cool like double entendre. You know what I mean? The whole concept, not only talking to like a girl but also the listener. Yeah, you know what I mean? Like for this experience we're about to go on. You know, it's definitely setting the table.
Oh yeah.
Is there something that you guys maybe didn't, you know, really appreciate until this revisit that you went back and you're like, oh wow, this is a slab?
I mean, the only thing is really just the place I was in life, because it didn't make sense. There was no context for this music at the time. And if we're being real too, the issues that The Weeknd is dealing with in this project are just not the same issues I was dealing with.
So you think you kind of heard everything a little bit new because of the meaning?
Yeah, definitely. And as I've grown older, like the meaning has become, I mean, even more relevant. I mean, I would say like I'm not as drugged out as The Weeknd. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, that's never gonna be my thing. But I think the issues he's talking about when it comes to like relationships and money and like trying to find his way in the world, like I can relate to that all at some level. Like I'm not out here in the streets like homeless, right? But I think you find him stumbling out of his home in Toronto into LA and like different places and trying to figure out where he belongs in this world. And obviously he's going through a hard time and depression and trying to deal with girls and all these different stuff. I think these are relatable topics that as you grow older, you might face. Kind of crazy. He was probably facing this at like 22, maybe younger than that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To your point a little bit, I've never really related to The Weeknd, especially early on, because I don't think I've had that, like, I don't really operate with that type of self-confidence. So like the way that The Weeknd kind of speaks about himself and like just like the way he kind of carries throughout this project, I never really related to that. I definitely relate to more like give me Snow Child Weeknd.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I feel that shit a lot more, but I've never really loved What You Need. Not my favorite. And I still don't love it, but you know, as I get older, I appreciate that more. On this re-listen though, Glass Table Girls.
Yeah, me
Second
too.
half got me a lot more.
Me too. I had never even saved that song, but that is a really incredible song.
I love, and I've always just had such a strong feeling about the first half.
Yeah.
And I just never really loved like his voice on the second half kind of got me a little bit, but just like I was in the vibe, I'm in the whip listening to this and I'm like, yeah, this the one. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Sober, dead sober for these listens too.
Yeah.
Which was different for me. But solid, very, very solid. Is this your favorite? What's your favorite Weeknd project?
After Hours.
Still? Mm-hmm. Do you miss this era of The Weeknd?
No, I don't really relate to this.
Wow.
But I mean, yeah, I do. Yeah, this is great music, but you know, like, you know what I listen to? This stuff doesn't really get into my playlist, into my rotation, because it's not really the headspace I'm really in like that. After Hours to me is a little bit more my speed. This is incredible music, probably his best music, but yeah, After Hours is still my favorite.
It's not super playlistable. I would agree with that, but as just a body of work, front to back, 9 songs, I don't think he's ever beating this.
No, yeah.
I don't think he could ever beat this because it's so innovative. I don't even know what he's like. And there's obviously elements of things that he's pulling from a little bit, but this is so individual.
Yeah.
So creative. And I think it's a perfect testament too to what people always say. You have 30-something, 20-something years to make your first body of work. This feels like years of life and experiences and like young adulthood of a nigga who was outside for real, like put into this. And just like, this will always hold a very, very special place in my heart.
Now, before we get into this draft, one random question. Favorite trilogy song that's not on House of Balloons?
Oh, Rolling Stone.
Oh, me too. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. We're the same there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's easily, that's probably my favorite Weeknd song.
Let me take a sneak peek.
Yeah, that's definitely my favorite Weeknd song. I think that relates to, I've told you about that theory. I have.
Huh.
That I think that song is him like talking about his career.
Oh, yeah. I love that.
That shit is out of this world, bro. Ooh, but also.
No, you only get one because we're about to draft.
Wait. So, okay. But I can say.
You can have one. Yeah.
I mean, The Zone, probably.
There you go.
It's a great one.